Hey everyone, Ultima456 here. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick video, like vlog style video on E3, everything that's been happening with E3, like a minor channel update and what's coming for the future and all that kind of stuff. Now I know that like everyone and their mother now has an E3 update video. It's just all over YouTube. So I'm gonna make this like not necessarily short and sweet. It'll probably be like at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. But just talking about everything that I found interesting during E3. Okay, so let's start with the best news. Crash Bandicoot remade entirely from the ground up. 1, 2, and 3. Was not expecting that at all. Very much hoping for something like that to come along because they said that Crash Bandicoot would be coming back at some point. You know, maybe there was like that fake thing that happened, I think, 2 years ago, where it was just like an outline of Crash and then it had a date, but there was nothing else on it. And having this is just, it's icing on the cake. Like, this is just some of the best news to come out of it. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to have trophies. It's going to be Crash 1, 2, and 3, completely remade. I just can't wait to see what they do with it. You know, it's Crash Bandicoot was one of those games that really suited the original PlayStations, but to have it on PS4 with all the different things that can happen, and like this, what is it? Almost like 4 times the power. No, even more. Like it'll be like so much more times the power that seeing what they can do with it is going to be incredible. And I know that some of those trophies are going to be pretty hard because for those who played Crash 3 and even Crash 1 to an extent, I think Crash 2 was the easiest one, but Crash 1 was tough. But Crash 3 had these platinum relic trial modes, and what you would do is you would have to get this sort of like a sapphire relic, and it was a time trial, and then a better time would be gold, and then the platinum one would be hidden until you got the gold. I think that's what it was, and it was awesome, so fun. I remember doing all of them. They were really tough, some of them, but awesome game. Best news of the E3, hands down. Also, just quickly mention, I should have started with this at the top. I'll mostly only be talking about the stuff that Sony did. I haven't had a chance to like go look at every single other press conference, and I'll just like look at all that in the coming days. I probably won't comment on it or anything like that. I won't make another video, but that'll just be for me to check like what the new stuff is. Okay, so the next one, I'm doing these kind of very out of order. I just typed up like what Sony announced, and then I just remembered what I saw. The next one I want to talk about was Days Gone. Days Gone, new IP. Pretty cool. I was getting a very The Last of Us vibe as soon as I watched the trailer. And then I saw like bikes, like motorbikes, and I was like, is this a biker game? Like, the only biker game I can think of in the past that we've had is Road Rash, and that was more like just knock your enemy off their bike and, you know, and try and win the race. But this was like feeling very like, you know, just a biker game, which was really weird, and it had a weird feeling to it, and yet it looked really Last of Us. And you couldn't really tell. I mean, you could sort of tell that it was like a post-apocalyptic world with the trailer. But I think, to be honest, what saved it was the gameplay trailer at the end. That was probably one of the best gameplay trailers that I've seen. Killing all those zombies. How many zombies? There must have been like 3,000 zombies there that he killed. They all obviously died in like one hit, and it was all very structured and staged and all that kind of stuff. But it was cool. It was really cool to watch. And that ending where he's like on top of the silo and he's completely surrounded. And he's like, "Come on, come on!" It's you know, that was cool. I really enjoyed it. I think it sold the game much better for me than the first trailer did, because like, you know, the guy was like, "I miss you, and I miss the smell of your hair and the touch of your skin." I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, like I don't care. Like, but after when he was fighting all those guys, I was like, okay, now I care about him. So it was cool. Detroit Become Human. So that was another one that got, that's like another new IP from Quantic Dream. If you don't know, Quantic Dream did Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, and actually a game that a lot of you might not know. I only know because I got very lucky to play it ages ago. It was called it was actually there were two names for it. It was Fahrenheit 9/11 or just Fahrenheit, and it was also called Indigo Prophecy. Very akin to, what Quantic Dream is known for, these types of narrative-based games with different story choices. So that was really cool. Like Detroit Become Human was, I thought it was cool. Like I don't know if I'll play it because I played Indigo Prophecy. I never played Heavy Rain, but I think I actually got spoiled on it one time because I was watching a video where it said there'll be spoilers for Heavy Rain, and I was like, no, I don't care. I'm not gonna play it. And then I got spoiled, and I was like, maybe I should have played it because that sounds cool. Then what was the other one? Beyond Two Souls. Never played it either. So maybe one day I'll get enough time to play those. Hopefully, it's just one of those things. You never have enough time. God of War. Wow, God of War. How was that? That was to open the show with that was really clever, I think. They could have done that, I think, with Crash. Although the Crash announcement to me seemed very lackluster. Like the crowd went pretty wild, but is it Sean? I think his name is Sean. He came out. He spoke. He said like I don't know 6 sentences, and then and at one point I was actually kind of slightly spoiled on it because they showed a camera angle where you could see the teleprompter and it said Crash 1, Crash 2, and I was like, wait, are they what? Are they doing this? And then he said it and I was like, yes, oh my god, it's the best news ever. So it was weird with that, but the God of War right at the beginning, I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was Horizon Zero Dawn because you saw that kid dressed very similar to the girl from Horizon Zero Dawn, and then you hear like Kratos' booming voice in the darkness. What are you doing? Are you going to get us food? Your mother used to do that. And I was just like, wow, like what's going on? And then Kratos showed up with a full beard. And I was like, holy crap, everyone went wild. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Because the God of War games, if you don't play the God of War games, they are great. They're phenomenal. They're big set pieces. They're just one of those games that you can, especially if you don't play it on the hardest difficulty and you're just playing for fun, just to get through the game, it's really good to watch. It's just a fun game to watch. It's like watching a movie almost with just a really over-the-top action movie, which is what makes it so good. But this new direction that they've got going, he's walking around sort of an open world. Is it open world? No, it's not open world, but it looks very much like something like Tomb Raider or even Uncharted to a similar extent. So that's really cool. And if you know the story of God of War, and I don't know it 100%, it's hard to remember exactly what it is. I think like Kratos is forced to kill his family, like his wife and his child, and then his ashes are like burnt onto his skin, and that's why he's so pale all the time, like in the games. They talk about it like immediately in the first God of War game. But the fact that his son is alive, and the fact that they talked about his mother, and also that there's no like number 4 after God of War, suggests that this could be a prequel before the other games, which is a pretty good idea to have those characters in the game. Yeah, it was a tough trailer to watch as well, like especially towards the end where he had to kill the deer or whatever it was. He was like really, he was really forcing his son to do something that he not necessarily wanted to do. Firing the arrow was okay because it was like from far away, but then when he was sitting next to it and having to kill it, that was tough. As I mentioned, Horizon Zero Dawn, we got a gameplay trailer for that, and that was really cool. I still think that this game is going to be really good. I like the mechanics that they were using for it. It looks very Assassin's Creed. Okay guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to make a small cut because the recording software stopped working. As I was saying, Horizon Zero Dawn looks very Assassin's Creed, which is cool because Assassin's Creed is fun to play. I mean, it's always fun to play. But with the dialogue options, because there was dialogue options in there, it could be a little bit more tricky, which is interesting because I thought that game would be a nice easy platinum. So now I'm really going to have to look at the trophy list and see how that's going to work, and make a decision, I guess, when it comes out, as to whether I do it on my channel blind or if I play it again. I don't know if I will play it again, but we'll see. We'll see what happens anyway. It's going to be a tricky one. I have to decide it later on. What else do we have? Resident Evil 7. So Resident Evil 7, I didn't expect that that's what it was going to be when they showed the trailer. I thought it was going to be a new IP, but always attaching a name of a popular IP is a good idea. So having Resident Evil 7 there was pretty cool. Um, all the Resident Evils have been pretty good. I've heard not great things about 6. But I've actually been playing 5 recently. I've been going back and doing the DLC for 5. I loved 5. 5 was great. People apparently really loved 4. I think 3 was great, and 2 and 1 are considered really good as well. So having only the sort of this stain of 6 on that 7 game now lineup is pretty good. I think they've done a good job with it. It's a shame that we don't have a Silent Hill game. Like they were talking about Hills with Norman Reedus from, is it The Walking Dead? I don't know. I don't watch that one, but yeah, that would have been cool because like for me, Silent Hill was cool. I played Silent Hill 2 ages and ages ago, and then I bought the collection for PS3 and played Silent Hill 2 and 3 again, and playing Silent Hill 2 was so fun. Like, getting that platinum was so fun. It was very difficult. You had to finish the game in under, like, 3 or 5 hours or something. It was really tough. But I love that game. I absolutely love that game. Even though, like, I'm not a big horror fan, like, I tend to not watch horror movies and all that kind of stuff. I just, for whatever reason, Resident Evil and Silent Hill are 2 really great games. Resident Evil's like more. It's easier to get through Resident Evil because you can actually protect yourself. In Silent Hill, you can protect yourself, but it's a harder. So I think that sort of balances it out with the horror element. What was next? Okay, something that this one's going to be funny to talk about. Something that I couldn't. I don't think I'll be able to stop myself from buying it if it becomes available as a standalone purchase. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Infinite Warfare, it looked great. I actually, like, I really like space and space exploration, and I feel like we should be putting more funds into exploring space because it's, space, the final frontier. It's cool, but the trailer, it was one of those misdirections, right? You're like watching it, and you're like, oh, what is this new IP, and blah, 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 blah. And it gets to the end, it's like Infinite Warfare. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just COD again. But I played Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was the first FPS that I played after something like Counter-Strike when I was about 12 or 13, and I was going to, like, internet cafes with my high school friends. And that game, I remember playing with them, and I looked at my friend who was sitting next to me, and I was like, this game is awesome. He's like, yeah. And so we kept going back, paying $2 an hour to play Call of Duty. So I might have to get that game. I don't know. We'll see. It depends if it's standalone, because apparently it comes free with Infinite Warfare, which I'm not really willing to get. And also, I've tried to put a ban on myself buying Call of Duty games because, like, I have Black Ops. And the DLC for those games, like, because I've been trying to get 100% of my profile as close as possible, and the DLC on that game it never cheapens, never. It's like 21 Australian dollars for each pack. So it's, what is that, $84 like across. I bought the first one ages ago, and I just recently finished it. But the other 3, I know some of them are really hard and are really hard to do solo, and like damn near impossible to do solo. So it's going to be even more annoying. And I just hope that if they do release Modern Warfare, maybe there's no DLC or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get that game because I really, it depends on what I'm doing at the time. But I loved the original Modern Warfare, and I'd love to play it again. Spider-Man. Holy crap, Spider-Man. It looked cool. Not sure about the costume. I kind of like the original costume. I don't mind seeing that original costume every single time, the red and blue. It's only a minor difference. Like, there was the blackness and darkness around his eyes, and I think there was like a white spider on the back instead of a red or blue. I think it's red. I can't remember. But what I'm hoping for with that one, because it was more of it wasn't a gameplay trailer, it was just a trailer. I'm hoping that it will be as good as Batman. If they can make it as good as the Arkham series of Batman games, then they've really got something on their hands here. And Insomniac, for those who don't know, believe Insomniac did Spyro the Dragon from ages ago. So, you could say they're coming from good pedigree, and I hope that that translates to Spider-Man. I can't remember what they've done recently, Insomniac, but yeah, I'm hoping that Spider-Man will be good. Because I didn't buy The Amazing Spider-Man and I really wanted to play that. And I have played Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube years and years ago, and that was a great game. So, yeah, I'm hoping that that will be good too. Death Stranding by Kojima. Alright, wow, Kojima. Kojima really straddles that line between pretentious and actually talented, doesn't he? He's such a weird guy. He's such a weird guy. Like, that trailer was like, what? First we've got, what is it? Naked Man, typical Kojima. He needs to balance it out with Quiet from Metal Gear Solid. You've got Naked Man, then Baby, disappearing baby, or connected to the baby with a black wire or something like that, some sci-fi thing. Disappearing baby, scar on the man's stomach, which kind of suggests that and it's Norman Reedus again, it, like suggests that he got like pregnant with the kid, which is like something that I'm sure it's happened before in like TV and movies and stuff like that. I can't think of an example. So it was pretty cool to see that. And then he stands up completely naked on a beach somewhere and looks up at like, what was it, 5 heavenly floating dudes. And yeah, it's weird. And as I said, as I was gonna say, add on, pretentious in this case is not necessarily a bad thing because he's such a unique individual. But I mean, he's a funny guy as well. It's like, hello everyone, everyone cheers, pause, I'm back. Everyone cheers again. And like, there's a YouTube channel with an Australian TV show called Good Game, and there's a YouTube channel called Good Game, and now they've changed to Pocket as well. And there's a guy there called Nick Boy, and who made this joke, and he said like, he's like, mate, been gone 6 months. Like, what a cocky little man. You've been gone 6 months. And I was like, that's actually really accurate. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Death Stranding, too hard to tell at the moment. I feel like it's going to be something that's intriguing and good, and you'll feel okay after playing it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. More Final Fantasy 15, that's nearly here. It's coming out in September. I don't want to talk too much about that. There was a little bit of VR mucking around with that. I'm not too fussed. I'll buy that game, I'll play that game, and then by the way, I will be playing that one on my channel, but I think I'm gonna do 2 playthroughs. So I'm gonna play it for myself, and then I'm gonna try and play it for the channel. That one's gonna be really hard to do because Final Fantasy games are always really tough to do. To set up like a strategy for how to beat that game. So that one's gonna take me a while, unfortunately, but it'll come out when it comes out. The Last Guardian. I loved Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. If you haven't played those games, you should do that. They're pretty good games. I was always confused about this one. People talked about this game over and over and over again. The Last Guardian. I got it confused with this game it had Guardian in the title, and there was an owl, and I thought that's what they were waiting for. And I'm like, what? That game doesn't even look any good. Like, why are you waiting for that? And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's from Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Like, that makes more sense. So The Last Guardian, I don't know if I'll get it. It was never really on my radar before, but I did like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, so maybe. The PlayStation VR Batman game is probably the only reason I would get the VR, but it's $399 which is like $1 billion Australian dollars. It's not. It's like $560, but I don't think I'll get VR. That's like my only reason to get VR, and even that I can't justify getting VR just for that. Maybe I'll watch something online of it because Batman. It's cool. Batman's always cool. And finally, Lego Star Wars. Maybe one day I'll have enough time to play a Star Wars game, a Lego game, because I do see the appeal, and it seems like right up my alley, like just a collectathon. One of those games you can just turn off your brain and just collect stuff. But I think it's, from what I've heard, like people say, like they're genuinely well designed and they're funny, and because it's Lego, you can have like different things happen. I guess maybe it's almost like watching an abridged series or something. Like if you watch Dragon Ball Z abridged from Team 4 Star, like maybe it's like that or something. But yeah, I just don't have enough time. I don't want to I mean, it's not that you have enough time, it's that you have to make time, but I'm not willing to make time for it because it doesn't interest me enough. That's just the same with everything else. Okay, I think this got mentioned during the Nintendo, during one of the press conferences. And actually, don't worry about Nintendo because I don't know if it was Nintendo. I think Nintendo just talking about Zelda the entire time, which is great and looks fantastic, and it sounds like they're doing so much more with the IP, so that's good. But I'm going to mention this one just myself. I think it was mentioned at E3, but as I said, I don't remember where. By the time you're watching this, it'll probably be about 11 days to go, 11 or 12 days to go. Zero Escape 3 Zero Time Dilemma. I've mentioned this like several times on all these sort of vlog style videos. The original game was 999. You could sort of call that Zero Escape 1. And then you've got Virtue's Last Reward, which is kind of Zero Escape 2, even though they called it Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. And now you've got Zero Escape 3 Zero Time Dilemma. It's going to release on June 28th. If you played those games, I highly recommend playing this game. It's a fun game. It's a great story. They're great games because of their great stories, and it's very complicated and complex, but it's awesome when you actually understand the whole thing. So that's really cool. And yeah, I'm going to get that on June 28th when it comes out. Alright, so I'm almost done with this video now. How long have we been going? About 21 minutes, something like that. So as I said for the previous video, which was like, what was it, April 6th, I think? So it was like 2 months ago and a bit. I'm going to play Salt and Sanctuary for my next game, which I have not started, and I will start very, very soon. And Enter the Gungeon soon after that. As of recording this, I've finished Dark Souls 3. I think I finished it 2 days ago. What day are we? Thursday? Yeah, I finished it 2 days ago, and I'm still getting through Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 will still go for a while. So I'm almost finished Uncharted 4's single player. I don't know if I'll have enough time to record an episode today, but I'll try. And then as soon as Uncharted 4 is finished, the first episode of Salt and Sanctuary will come out, and then hopefully Enter the Gungeon at some point after that. Salt and Sanctuary doesn't look like it's too long, so I might do like a Salt and Sanctuary, then Enter the Gungeon. One after the other. And then I've got to work out what to do after that because I'm not sure. Horizon Zero Dawn's not coming out. Final Fantasy 15's not coming out until the 30th of September. And there's really nothing in between, so I'm going to have to try and figure something out. I'll work it out as I go along, I guess. But that's going to be a tricky thing to do. Okay, I guess the last thing I'll talk about is kind of the elephant in the room that Sony didn't mention, which was the PlayStation 4.5. But they did sort of like say, yes, it's real and yes, it's coming and all this kind of stuff. Normally I'd be like totally cool with this kind of thing. Like we haven't had an upgradable console in a very long time. I think Nintendo 64 was the previous one. You could sort of classify that as an upgradable console because it had, first of all, if you bought Donkey Kong 64, it would come with this little RAM pack that you would put into the Nintendo 64, because if you didn't do that, if you didn't expand the RAM, the Donkey Kong 64 would freeze all the time. So they just made the extra RAM and sold it with every single copy of the game. And then there was a disk drive that attached underneath the Nintendo 64. So that's sort of a classification of upgradable console. But for this generation, it's a big deal because we're only like 2 years into the life cycle, or 2/3 years into the life cycle of PS4 and Xbox. So having an upgradable console is a massive deal. The only downside for me is I actually have two PS4s. I have one that I bought during, it was on my birthday in 2014. And then I bought the Batman one because I wanted one that looked nice. Like I wanted a different style PS4. Had I known that I was going to purchase Metal Gear Solid 5, I probably would have gone for that one because I think that one looks cooler. But having the Batman one is cool too. So I have two, and now if I want to play my games at like the top quality and get all the, have they really released too much of the features? They haven't necessarily said, but they've said that it's going to have like improved GPU, which is a big deal. And then all the future games will be made for that standard, and then you can play them on a lower mode. So they'll all have to work with the original PlayStation 4s, which makes sense. So am I annoyed by this? Slightly. Does it make business sense? Yes, because Sony is so far ahead at the moment to do something that is this drastic to try and make more money is a decent idea. Like even if it doesn't make money, like if it doesn't work, which I think it will work, but if it doesn't work, they're still going to be okay financially. So this is your normal business strategy of trying something different, something that no one's done before, while you're ahead to push yourself even further ahead. And Xbox has jumped on the bandwagon too with the Scorpio, which what is it, like 40% smaller but like really strong. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one because I think there were two consoles announced, but yeah, they've developed one that's really, really, really strong, and also one that's small. And I don't think those are the same ones, but I don't know. I haven't really looked into that too much. But yeah, like it's just business. It's how it works. So those are my feelings on it. I'm probably going to stop here because I've been going on for a long time now. But yeah, that's pretty much what I took from E3. I think last thing was really cool is last year's E3. I was really happy with. They did Final Fantasy VII remake, Final Fantasy 15, and Kingdom Hearts 3 and all that stuff, like good stuff. That they didn't really mention Kingdom Hearts 3, but that's fine. I've waited 10 years, 15 years for that game. I'll wait a bit longer. Well, not 15 years, but almost. It'll probably be 15 years by the time it comes out. So I've waited for those games long enough, and I'll play them eventually. But what's really cool is that I think actually I enjoyed this E3 more than I did last E3, and I enjoyed last E3 tons. So if every year it keeps improving like the way it has been, I'm very happy with that. That's awesome. All right, that's enough for today. This is just what's been going on with like my thoughts and feelings for E3. I will continue to be releasing videos daily as much as I possibly can. Salt and Sanctuary coming up, as I said. Enter the Gungeon eventually. That looks like a really tough one, so I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we'll see. And yeah, so anyway, let me know what you guys thought about E3, what got you interested, what's got you excited, and just post in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Alright guys, so that's it. That's where I'm going to stop. My name is Ultima456. You're the Ultimates. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.